After you've finished setting up your work group, one of the first things you'll probably want to do is set up your list of courses and sections. If you're one of the departments that performs a teaching call before setting up your courses, that's fine too, and you should check out the video about the teaching call. But this screen is the courses view. It provides the courses table. You can access it by clicking on courses in the left navigation. And an important note, if you do belong to multiple work groups, as I do here, I belong to 3 of them, you'll have to ensure that you're on the correct work group before clicking courses. But the courses table is a list of all of the courses that I wish to offer in this academic year. So as you can see at the top, we have DSSIT, which is a fictitious academic work group, 2016-17 academic year courses. If you want to work on a different academic year, you can use this year selector in the navigation bar to go to a previous year or to a future year. IPA will let you plan years, schedules that is, many years in advance if you choose to. And you can also use it to go back and view historical schedules. Now what we see here is every row is a course that we're going to offer, and every column is a term. And if you're not seeing the terms that you want, this button here will toggle the various terms on and off. For instance, I can add summer session 1 and 2. Due to the date that this video is being recorded, you'll see that summer session 1 and 2 have these lock icons and appear visually distinct from the others. The numbers are not editable. This is because they're in the past and we can't edit those, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn those off. The numbers that I'm referring to here, these are the seats that you wish to have for the course, or the capacity of the course. This is not necessarily the size of a particular section for a course that has multiple sections. We're merely asking the question, how many students do we hope to get through, in this case, ECS 10 in the fall? So you can click to edit this as you would expect, but when I do click, this right sidebar appears here. And very conveniently, there's a graph of historical enrollment data. Now this actually comes from Campus Data Warehouse, and as I hover over each data point, it breaks out what the data is showing me. In this case, there are 2 graphs. There's the seat graph, which is the capacity I asked for, and then there's the actual enrollment. So of course we want to get those numbers as close as possible. We can also see that the interest in this course is growing over the years, which is great. And I should note these are historical years, so the enrollment numbers are going to be the enrollment on the last day of course, so it doesn't take into account the individuals who may have dropped the course. And I can click around and see different graphs, and you can see they change depending on whether the course was offered in fall or winter. Some of you may have no courses in your courses table, and that's all right. These buttons over here allow you to add or remove courses, or if you have no courses at all, you'll want to use this Add Multiple Courses button here. I'll give you a quick demonstration of that. It's going to ask for a subject code and an academic year, and what this is going to do is it's going to search the registrar's database in an attempt to find those courses. So in this case I've gotten unlucky and I've picked one that doesn't exist, so we'll just try again. And here we are. You'll see I had to scroll down a little bit to find them because the courses are shown in alphabetical order. But you can see some of the table that I was already working on has been grayed out, and it has highlighted all of these other rows that may be added, and you can see a summary here. It says 127 out of 127 courses with the subject code PHY will be offered. The reason it's telling me this count is because I can actually go through and say, you know what, I actually don't want to import some of these. And you can see now it says 122. And if I hit import courses, it would add all of these to my schedule. I don't want to do that though, so I'm just going to go up here and click the X to get out. Now if I only wanted to add one course, I could use the green button, and it works in a similar fashion. You can see the table has grayed out. I can go over here and I can search for courses, and after waiting a moment, the list comes up, and it also wants to know the sequence I want. As per the scheme of the registrar, we have sequences that either start with letters, in which case they can have multiple sections, or sequences that are only numbers, in which case there can only be one section. So be sure to pick appropriately. And once I have a course, I can start planning how many sections I want. So for instance, here we have ECS 15-A, so sequence A. And looking over here on the right, underneath the graph, it says no sections available, create A01. So I'm just going to click that button to create A01, and there it is. Now since I'm planning on having 180 students go through this course, one section is probably not enough. So I'm going to go ahead and make a few more. Perhaps 9 sections would be appropriate. So there you go. We've now planned for fall 2016 ECS 15A, or sequence A rather, to have 9 sections. We want to have 180 students go through it. You'll see this total here, 0 of 180. That's showing how the capacity of sections adds up to my planned capacity for this whole course. So as I go through and change this number, perhaps putting 20 students per section, you'll see the number updates at the bottom. And indeed now I've planned well, 180 out of 180. These numbers don't have to match. The 180 capacity that we've planned is really our target. If our sections are slightly over and under, that's okay, of course. And I can also remove sections if I want. I do want to note 2 more things about this page. One is that if I was to offer, say, ECS 15 with a B sequence, I would need to go ahead and add ECS 15 to this schedule again. So anytime you have a course with a certain section, or a sequence rather, with a group of sections, that will appear as a single row. So if you have an A sequence and a B sequence and a C sequence, that would be 3 rows on this table. And I also want to point out last that we have a couple more options up here that are fairly self-explanatory. Download as Excel, print, and I want to point out filters here. These are actually my tags that I used in my workgroup page. If you don't know what tags are, I encourage you to check out the workgroup video to learn more. But had I tagged any of these courses by clicking on the course name, as you can see here, there's a tags field now, and I could tag one of them, and you'll see the tags appear here. I could then filter and say only show me courses with that tag, and indeed it does work.